Because really, like if you're going the route of we're going to get leads and then we're going to have subcontractors, it becomes a game of what's your customer acquisition cost? And then what are you going to get from that customer when you sub it out? Hey everyone, it's Mike Andes, and today we're going to be talking about subcontracting. And this is actually a segment about 30 to 40 minutes that was taken out of our turnaround episode that we do with Nathan from Eagle Landscaping out in Idaho. And what's really cool is if you want to watch the whole video, just click the link in the description or up above. We'll make a button for you to click and actually see exactly what he was doing in his business, doing about $300,000 in annual revenue. And what I was recommending he do is focus on subcontracting instead of actually doing the work. And so instead of us putting that big long chunk of very technical stuff inside of the episode, I went ahead and just made a separate video for you here. So this is uncut, very unfiltered, but if you're interested in doing a subcontracting model where you get the leads and you sell these off to other contractors to actually perform the work, then this might be a great episode to actually know the X's and the O's of getting that done. And shout out to Nathan for within a matter of 3 to 4 weeks, completely revamped the business, completely restructured the way he does the subcontracting model, created a portal to be able to get on board subcontractors, etc. But this is really the step-by-step and the recipe that I gave him to do that several weeks ago. So I hope it's helpful for you. If you're going to make, say, 20% margin on the job, it's like, okay, well, then I need 5 cuts, essentially.
To pay for that job.
To pay for it. And so it's the equivalent of saying, okay, well, now customer acquisition cost. What is that? Like, have you figured out what your customer acquisition cost is? Because like Google guarantee is fine. The problem with it is you can bulk your budget up to $1,000 a week and you'll still get 2 leads. Because it's just going to be per lead, and there's a finite number of them. So you got to find a avenue that you, as you pour more money in, you get more leads out.
I think I need to work on that, because right now I have the Google My Business going, but like as far as the
you probably get what, like 2 or 3 a week maybe
from Google guaranteed. It's like I would say like 3 to 6 in this area for landscaping, and then like 2 to 3 for lawn mowing. But Google My Business can be like 5 a day.
Like all the traffic that you get otherwise, essentially. Got it. But have you done any sort of like pay-per-click marketing in terms of Facebook or Google or anything like that?
So I've done Facebook, and that was good. It's just you got a lot of whatever the kicker people.
Tire kickers.
Tire kickers. And then the Google links. People just like click on your link, click out, click it back.
Pay.
And then it charges you twice, at least from what I understand from.
It shouldn't. No, like it usually tracks it pretty decently, but what you might want to do, because you're really tech savvy, so like what I'd recommend doing is putting like a Facebook pixel or your Google tracking link on a landing page. So that way, like when someone fills out a form, they go to a landing page. And so we just made it in Copilot too, where like once they fill out the work request form, which you can tie that in with Jotform. So when it finishes, then when they click submit, they go to a different URL. When they go to that URL, you put your pixel from Facebook or you put your Google tracking, and now you're gonna be able to track what your cost per lead is. Right? Because if we ultimately know, okay, we spend $40 on marketing, we get a lead, great. And then 1 out of 2, we are gonna sell them and they're gonna become a customer. Okay, $80 is our customer acquisition cost.
Which is awesome.
And then if you know, okay, if I can take that $80 and now I'm gonna go sell that to someone and they're gonna mow their lawn for $50 a week, well, now I need them to make, what is it? 80 times 5, $400. So in 2 months, I'll make back the cost of my acquisition. Right? And so that's the math that you'll want to play if you're going the route of a sales organization. Because essentially when you use the subcontractor model, all you're doing is you're becoming a sales organization. They just happens to sell mowing and landscaping. And so it's like, how do we get the leads and how do we sell them? Simply comes down to how much they cost us and how much can we get from them. And so if that's the route you're going, it changes from like trailers and trucks, even team members out in the field to how can I create a system by which I know exactly how much it costs me to get the customer and then exactly how much I get when I sub it out to somebody. Right? And then having the terms and conditions and contracts in place to where your subcontractors can't walk away with your jobs.
I think that's important, because I didn't run into that problem, but just the contract between like, hey, you don't get paid until I get paid, stuff like that. And you could even create like a 1-page document that you send out via DocuSign. You would even have on as you grow, you put on your website a thing that says like subcontractor portal. They go in there, they can fill an application, then you send them a DocuSign. It has all your terms and conditions. They sign up and it's like, okay, great. When we get lawns in your area, we'll let you know. Okay.
Right? Again, though, this becomes a whole different business. Managing subcontractors is so different than actually doing the work. Right? Because now you become a sales organization that has to like manage other businesses.
Yeah.
Because you've got to manage them and their quality. Like when the customer complains, they're going to call you.
Yeah.
So like in that contract, it's like, hey, like, is there demerits? Do we take away from how much we pay you if you have a yellow slip?
Yeah.
Like those are the type of things that you'd be wanting to look at.
Yeah. Okay. So just getting the right contracts in place and then just making sure my customer acquisition cost like is lower than what I make.
Yeah, and like the math has to make sense because if it costs you $150 to get a customer, and now all of a sudden it's going to take 5-6 months of mowing for us to recoup the cost because we're only making 10-15 points on every dollar.
Sense to do.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's where like I'd say your number one thing if you want to go the sales way, which I agree with you. Like I think you're the tech lead marketing guy.
Yeah.
If that's the way you want to go, you have to figure out what it costs to acquire a customer and then just nail that. Because if you can get that down to like $20 or $30, now within 2 weeks, you recoup the cost of your acquisition.
Yeah.
Right? And then it becomes a machine.
Yeah, and you just keep doing it over and over.
And then you're gonna have to create systems like, for example, getting that number of estimates out. Now you're not gonna be training guys on mowing. You're gonna train them on how to go do like 25 estimates in a day.
Yeah.
You're gonna train them on how to do landscaping projects, and here's how I want you to bid them, and then here's how you determine which subcontractor you send the job to.
Yeah.
And like I would recommend making all of your users in Copilot your subcontractors down the road.
Okay.
So you could have, for example, the form that they fill out as a subcontractor go into Copilot. That sets them up as a subcontractor, and then you dispatch to them.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Set up a separate calendar for each one.
Well, you wouldn't even have to. You'd have your calendar, and you would assign the jobs to whichever subcontractor you want. So, if, for example, you're like, okay, the north side, all the mowing on the north side, I'm going to give to this person that filled in their app, sign the subcontractor release and all this other stuff. Okay, let's put that on, assign that to him, right? And they just know they have to get it within, like, say, 1 plus or negative a day of this day that you assign it.
Okay.
And then they can literally mark complete, put dispatcher notes, everything else, like you would currently do for an employee.
Yeah, they just do it as a subcontractor.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Because if that's your passion, right? And based upon what I've heard, like I've heard zero words about operations. I heard everything about marketing and sales. And so if that's your passion, it's just a matter of we have to look at the metrics of that. And that is like, how much do I acquire a customer for? How do I get them through the system of my sales process? And then how do I then manage the subcontractor to actually deliver on the work? Because that's what the customer is trying to get. This still has to be good. Like operations still have to be good. You're just leaning on someone else to provide them now.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because you heard me, right? Not that I don't care about operations, but this is where my strength is. Yeah.
And if you lean into that and just realize, okay, I'm not going to worry about someone stealing my trailer anymore. Now I've got to make sure my contract is legally binding, and I can somehow get my customer back if this person goes rogue.
Yeah, or charge them $10,000 or whatever.
Something, right? Or you say, hey, you've got to be bonded. You got to have certain insurances, or you have a deposit in order to work with us. You got to have. So it all comes down to if you have the leads, you have leverage, right? If you can provide the leads, there's a ton of people out there wanting new customers. And they're willing to give you 10 points or 20 points, and you just give them work.
And everyone's busy until you give them leads.
Yeah, and you can just be like, hey, I'm going to literally dispatch the jobs. Like, what's the value add is what you got to pitch, right? Because now your website is going to turn into here's customer facing and then here's subcontractor facing. And so the subcontractor facing is going to be like, hey, you're not going to have to dispatch, invoice, take customer complaints. I just need you to do the work. And so now your job isn't managing employees, it is managing subcontractors and managing a sales team. Right? So I think of it as like, you could literally be having, okay, I'm gonna have a sales department and I'm going to have a subcontractor management department, right? So your sales team is like answering the phone. They are selling mowing over the phone. They're going out and doing estimates for projects. They're bringing in the work. You're managing the customer acquisition cost and the funnel of that sales process. And then you need to have someone else be operational in terms of managing the subcontractors.
Okay, so instead of sales ops admin, it would be like subcontractor management, sales, and then some. So basically, same thing. Then.
Really, still the same thing, right? You have sales, and that person's going to go sell jobs to the customers. Because now you've created a marketplace where you have two sides of. You've got to sell to two people. This is why this business model is what everyone wants to have, but is so difficult. you have two buyers. You have the customer, but then you also need to go sell to the subcontractor.
So you got two buyers.
It's the exact same thing. Now, in a business that you don't have this, you kind of have the same thing, and that is your internal team, like your employees, and you have customers. You're just switching out employees for subcontractors. But you still will need the employees on your team to manage them. So it's still sales, operations, and admin. It's just a matter of now you're trying to, and your admin is like, you got to admin against these subcontractors. If they're doing a bad job, you got to have, like, for example, in that contract, it's like, hey, you can get one callback a week. You've got to fix it within 24 hours or else we don't pay you for that job. Right? And if you get more than one a week, you have a demerit. After 3 demerits, you're out. Like, we're just going to kick you out. And then it's a matter of, like, you just go you almost got to go sell to the subcontractors. Like, can I get 3 people on the north side? Can I get 3 people on the south side? Can I get 3 people on the west and the east? And then you have, like, this portfolio of 12, 15 subcontractors. Okay, I know Joe does the north side for mowing. Okay, I know Bill, he does the south side for landscape projects. Right? And they don't want to do sales because most people in this industry, they like the work side. They don't like the sales and admin side.
And I'm the opposite.
So you say, hey, look, you do all the work. I will do all the sales, all the admin. You'll never have to talk to a customer unless you mess something up.
Okay.
Right?
So, So in my situation, would I just oversee each part of it? Or what would be my role?
At the beginning, it's probably going to look like you still doing sales for the customer and then you meeting subcontractors and getting them set up. Right? Down the road, I'd say once you pass kind of like 800, 900,000, you start hitting that million marker, you're probably going to hire one person that is doing the estimates, one person that's going to manage the subcontractors, and then you're in the middle kind of thing. You're managing the marketing. Like, that's the biggest thing here. Because if you can't get a lead in and get a customer for the right price, this whole model breaks down.
Because then
you just can't make sense of paying $200 per customer. It's going to take you a year to recoup the cost of that, assuming that this subcontractor works out fine. If they botch it after 2 months, you actually have lost money on the customer acquisition. Right?
Because if they mess up all the lawns, then
you still got to worry about churn. You still got to worry about complaints. So it's not like everyone's like, oh, this is so easy. I just sub everything out. It's like you're actually opening up a whole different can of worms because now you have 2 different buyers, subcontractors and the customer themselves. So it's not easier, but if your strength is sales, figure out that sales system and then go sell that lead essentially to a subcontractor.
Okay.
Right?
So I guess when I get my portfolio of contractors, and so when a job comes in, do you recommend me targeting one or just sending out a notification to all? How would you go about that?
I would probably be like, okay, I'm going to divide up my territory by 2 or 3. Like, for example, let's do north and south. Okay. I need to find 2 guys that can mow on the north side, 2 guys that can do landscape projects on the north side, 2 guys that can do mowing on the south side, 2 guys that can do landscape projects on the south side. So essentially there you have 8 contractors.
So if one goes down, you got another.
And so that way if someone's like, I'm too busy, you got someone else. Right? The thing is, at the end of the day, typically you can set up all your subcontractors during the winter. Right? So like for the next couple months, I'd be like trying to get all these subcontractors dialed in, sign the contracts. They all understand what's going to happen. They get their login for Copilot. It's like, hey, look, you're going to get a notification when I have a job for you. You're going to look at your job. It's going to be on your dispatch board, and you're going to do that job within plus or negative 1 day of that job being done. So you can then dispatch on the fact that, okay, when I send this to the customer, I can tell them plus or negative 1 day. At the same time I schedule the job, it's going to notify the contractor, and they know they have to do it within plus or negative 1 day. And you're going to treat them like an employee in terms of the software. You're going to dispatch to them. You're going to route for them. All the jobs get invoiced through you. And then you can set permissions so that if you don't want them to contact the customer or be able to see the money or whatever. And you can just be honest with them too, like on the subcontractor, hey, I'm taking 20% off the top. And
I've done, and everyone seems to be fine.
Be like, well, this is what you're doing, like in the part of your website where you're going to be selling to these subcontractors. What you're going to do is like, hey, this is what I'm doing for you, and this is what you're doing for me. I'm going to take 20%, and yes, I'm not going to do the hard work, but I'm going to give you the customer, and I'm going to manage them so you never have to pick up the phone. There's a lot of hardworking people that would like that position. And there's a lot of people that would not like to be answering the phones and managing the expectations of the customer all day long. Because in order for you to be able to do $800,000 as a subcontractor, you need to be selling $4 million worth of revenue.
Yeah.
Because you're getting 20% of it.
Yeah.
So your $800,000 business is going to have $4 million worth of admin.
Yeah. Yeah.
So an $800,000 business for you is probably going to look like 3 to 5 people in the office.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Which is, again, a totally different business.
Yeah. Which is what I would say I am better at.
That's what I'm picking up on. That's why I think you should go down that route.
Yeah.
But just keep in mind, like, it is a different business. And the reason I say this with confidence is like Command Center, like nothing to do with lawn care. It's a completely different beast.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing to scale.
Yeah.
Right? It's all people dependent, and they're trying to run, an organization that's like, say, 50 million in revenue, right? So, but you're gonna have to do like 4 million to get your 20% cut of 800. Well, 4 million in revenue is going to require 3 to 5 people in the office full time.
Okay.
And then it's probably going to require 2 to 3 full-time estimators. So what the organization ended up looking like is you, 2 to 3 salespeople, and then 4 or 5 people in the office, 800, 900,000 annual revenue.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So I guess, another question, I have a lot of questions.
You're good.
So I have my admin people, and then you have sales. What I've always kind of done is like, why can't the customer just like take a video and send it to the admin, which is kind of what I've been doing. And 90% of people are fine with that. And then the 1 out of 10 that aren't, I can just send an admin person out to do that. So I just have all admin people trained to do sales, but not someone who just goes and does sales all day. What do you think about that?
Yeah, like right now, that's what you'll have to do. When the business is smaller, like you will have to do sales, and you're gonna have to go out and take care of your subcontractors, and you're gonna answer the phone.
Got it. Yeah.
As the company scales, like I'm thinking about like, okay, if we actually did an 800,000 annual revenue, subcontracting only business, now you will need, like the phone will be ringing too many times for you to answer it.
Yeah.
So you'll have to delegate that. Okay, there'll be too many leads because to do 4 million in annual revenue, you making 20% cut of that is probably doing between 15 and 25 estimates per day.
Yeah.
You're going to need help on the sales side.
Yeah.
Your job will end up becoming managing people and then the marketing machine.
Yeah.
Which is your strength.
Yeah.
That's why I think you getting there will be good.
Yeah.
Is you'll just have to find good people for the office to take the calls, manage the people, manage the software, dispatch jobs, all the rest of it. And then you'll need the salesperson. Okay. At the beginning, you will probably hire someone who's like, hey, here's a cell phone. It's gonna ring. When it rings, answer it. And then I'm gonna have you drive all over the place and do estimates.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna look like.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess, would you recommend having everyone who does sales and admin here or overseas some of that? Because I know you've done it all in-house, but in my situation...
We have people across the world now.
Oh, you do?
But it took us 4 years to really dial that in.
Okay.
It's great in theory, like, oh, they're going to be cheaper overseas. They take way more management.
Yeah.
It takes way more training because you can't be like, oh, you're doing that wrong, or overhear them say something incorrect.
Yeah.
You have to be like way more regimented and systematized.
Okay.
So I wouldn't recommend going overseas until you nail down the systems.
Okay, so once I know exactly what template to give the people overseas,
you have training manuals. You have scripts. You have mock calls with customers and how to handle them, and you have testing. You have modules for training. Like until that's done, I just keep it in house.
Okay.
That way, it's like, hey, here's your phone. Like you can trust him. Give him a cell phone. Here's how you sell. Here's once the job is done, admin's gonna get the information, put together the estimate, send it, gets accepted. They then send it to the subcontractor, dispatch it, and we're good to go.
Okay.
That's how it's gonna look. And eventually he's gonna have so many leads, he's not gonna be able to know what to do.
Okay.
Then you're gonna have to hire just a salesperson.
Yeah.
At first he'll be kind of doing everything. He'll answer the phone, he'll do everything.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'll be here.
Yeah. But like I think your strength is the marketing.
Okay.
It is the sales funnel.
Okay.
And were you at conference?
I wanted to be, but the trailer thing.
Oh, let's go. Yeah. But yeah, we talked about the sales, the whole sales process.
Yeah.
You got to get like religious about knowing the sales process.
Oh, I watched the video. Yeah, I think
the funnel, and I broke it all down, then talk about skipping steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like your religion as you do subcontracting.
Yeah.
Because you have to get like that model has to be super, super efficient.
Okay.
Because if it's not, you're not going to be able to get your customer acquisition cost low enough to make money.
Okay. Okay.
Because it all comes down to customer acquisition cost and lifetime value of the customer.
Yeah, and just keep those customers as long as possible.
Yeah, and then get them for the low enough price.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so those are the only two numbers that matter when it comes to subcontracting.
Yeah. So then I don't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and so I guess with McKay then, because he'll be here in the fall, and kind of the thing behind that is he's gonna do like a sales job, which I think is, and maybe McKay explain.
Yeah, so I'm going back to school right now. I'm getting a job at a call center where it's not outward calls, but we're calling in and selling.
Yep.
And then I'm also doing door-to-door sales in New York over the summer.
Cool.
And so we were both talking, and since Nathan wants to move forward with more of a sale-based company, then he was like, well, that's perfect because you're getting a lot of training. And the company I'm working for is great. They do every week, they do training and sit down and like, oh, here's all these different steps you can use.
That's great.
So
huge, because what can happen is this year, you're going to kind of handle and juggle everything, right? He's going to go with the actual like real world experience of running a call center, which is like, it makes so simple sense in like, just like when you think about it.
Yeah.
And then when you actually go do it and you get around like 50, 100 people that are actually, it's a totally different business.
Yeah.
It's like, because you're training office people on lawn care and landscaping and you're not around a lawn, you're in an office. It's sterile environment. It's very, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And so if you can juggle all the balls this year, because you'll be able to, because you have the skills about the industry, you know the area, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Then he comes in like, okay, we need to create systems around how we train someone on the phone. We're going to create systems of how we sell. We actually need like a rubric. We can't rely on them drawing on their screen. You know, we can't rely on them taking that number and then going to the next screen and entering that in manually. Like we need to be aware that we just push them all towards the phone and we're doing it on the phone and giving them the price, getting their card information and rocketing and rolling.
As fast as possible.
Right?
Yeah, because I know there was some friction with that, but I was like, it doesn't matter because I can't handle the leads anyway.
Right.
So if we get people on the phone, you think that's going to be
well, like in that sales process video, I talk about that as you scale, it doesn't really matter the exact price.
Yeah.
So it's not like, is it $55 or is it $57 per cut?
Yeah.
Flip a coin. It doesn't matter. Especially when you're subcontracting. Why? Because you're making 20% of it.
Yeah.
So you're going to really lose the customer over 40 cents that we're getting out of that couple dollars.
Yeah.
So in that regard, I'd change your website to be looking more like, here's a picture of a small lawn. Does your lawn look like this? No. Here's a medium. Does it look like this? Or does it look like large? And here's the pricing for all three.
Oh, so super simple.
What does your lawn look like? You have an aerial and a front image of the property. They click on it. Here's your pricing. Would you like to accept? Yes.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Super simple.
Oh, think about it. Like think about your pricing. Like right now, if you take out the people who are the cheapest, the bottom 10%, and the top 10%, what's your range of your mowing price per cut?
It's $40 to $200.
Okay, so how many people are above 100? Like what percentage of people are above $100 per cut?
Like 20%.
Got it. So we cut them out, right? So we say, okay, $100 is our big lawn.
Yeah.
And what do you say is the lowest?
$40.
40. There's your 40. What's going to be medium? 65, baby. We have our 40, we have our 65, and we have our $100 lawn.
Okay, wait. So I actually did this thing, but I was like, there's no way this is gonna work. Let me show you. So instant quote right here. Get on the schedule 83616. Yeah, mowing service. Yeah, let me show you. Small mowing service.
But see, go back. No one knows this stuff. Do you know how many square feet your lawn is?
Like 6,000. I don't know.
It's way bigger than 6,000 square feet.
The like main lawn.
Oh, the main lawn. Got it. Like this is the type of thing though. Like you
got it.
We expect our customers to literally know. 12,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Right here. This is I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you can, if you want to rip more off, here you go. This is one of our locations. So we go here, get an estimate, and do this. Boom. I want mowing. Great. Why is this not loading? You're not good? Oh, there you go. Cool. All right, so I want mowing. What's my property look like? Small, medium, large, or my property is different because I'm a special snowflake. Okay, medium. Great. There's your weekly and bi-weekly price. Accept, go.
Oh, that's it?
That's it.
Oh, that's smart.
Doesn't have different page changes because every time you change that page on your thing, That's 2 to 3 seconds of them waiting for a page to load. It's even more if they're on a mobile device.
So you just did that. So instead of doing all this dumb square footage, wherever it is, you just.
Well, like it's really simple. It's a matter of like, okay, well, no, my property is massive. Okay, great. They're gonna click this, and what's gonna happen? Go ahead and submit a video of your property and submit the quote.
That's what you're over.
Yeah. Okay. So like, okay, that gives you a better idea because I was like, well, because you do the thing about raising prices. I'm like, well, what if we just never raise the price and just get like exact?
Well, if you want to raise the price, you know what you do, right? You just change the form so that instead of it being $59.79, it becomes $69.89.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. That's smart. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that instead because the whole square footage thing, I'm like people are gonna be confused and then
older people, they don't understand, then that you're requiring them to actually look at that, take that number, remember 4 digits, which is impossible, and then take that and put it on the next screen.
Yeah.
And what if they put a different number?
Oh yeah.
What if they forgot the 0 and now instead of 20,000, it's 2,000? Like, oh, it's $40 a cut. Like, that's a $150 cut.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So I just make it as simple as possible, and this is all back to like the sales system, and that's the thing you got to get religious about. Like, this is cut out several steps. Number 1, submit a form. Number 2, hear back from the office. Number 3, you go visit the property. Number 4, you give the price. Number 5, they accept. Number 6. They get an add-on, which if I click submit, it would start going through the add-on process. Do you want extra weeding services? Do you want fertilizer and all this other stuff?
Okay.
You do it all on one page, and you've skipped all the steps of that sales process, and it's done.
Yeah.
Like they're accepted, and down the road, the part with Copilot will be it'll schedule them too.
Okay. Yeah, because that's the part I like too, where it schedules. That's what Deepline didn't have. So this is trash. And then this is not trash. That's smart. Yeah.
So you can make it with our aerial images too. So a lot of our other locations, what they'll do is when you toggle over the image, it'll flip from small front-facing image to then an aerial. So that way people can kind of determine, is my property look like this? Well, here's an aerial footage, and it just like toggles back and forth.
Okay.
So you can see from the sky versus small, medium, and large.
Okay. Yeah, because in the end of the day, like if we show up and it's a massive lawn instead of a small, we're just like
worst case scenario, we change the price on them.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, like I thought my 5 acres was gonna be $40 a cut. It's like, Mr. Jones, it's not small. Look at the picture.
Yeah.
Right?
You're like, Mr. Jones, please.
And again, if you're the contractor and you're giving a sub, you don't care.
Yeah.
You just need the lead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They'll come back to you like, hey, it's too low, if they think that.
Yeah.
But again, most of the time, those individuals, they just want the job.
Yeah.
And if you're getting 20% to handle all of this for them, let's go. They're happy.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I think you could probably get away with charging 30% cut if you go a little bit more premium with your pricing.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, we're gonna give you jobs, we're gonna dispatch them, we're gonna do all your invoices, we're gonna eat the processing fees. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You just go do the work. When it's assigned to you, I need it done within 48 hours.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah, because I got the 48-hour thing, but everything else you said, I did not think about. So that's good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because I think your strength is marketing. I think it is sales.
Yeah.
And especially like, I know what it's like to be super young and trying to hire guys and manage them, and you have trucks and equipment, and like, that's a harder thing than what I think you're skilled at, which is the marketing, the online digital ads.
Yeah.
I think you'll really figure out Facebook ads and Google ads.
Yeah.
Get your tracking links in there. Know what your lead, cost per lead, customer acquisition cost. These are things that like you got to know so well in order to make a sales organization. Yeah. And then this fine gentleman's gonna go trained up for you and be able to come do all the system stuff. Because you'll lack that after figuring out the sales side.
Yeah. So McKay will come, make big bucks, and make big bucks for the business. Yeah. We're just trying to get more profit from it rather than just run like dogs. I just kept trying to expand, and each time I tried to get new guys, I had to go back. I just want to focus on what I'm good at. If you want to cheat me, that's fine, but like, we're not gonna work together anymore. I lost like 5,000. He takes the customer's check, and then he won't give it to me, so I'm like, you can keep it, just leave.
This is why this business model is what everyone wants to have, but is so difficult. So your $800,000 business is going to have $4 million worth of admin. Because if you can't get a lead in and get a customer for the right price, this whole model breaks down.